Today in WWE 2K25, I put together a big tournament, 16 teams, to determine who the best couple in all of wrestling is. There's a lot of couples in the world of wrestling, some that got left off, but most of the good ones, the notable ones, are here. And to quickly run through the bracket, we got CM Punk, AJ Lee, Trick Williams, Lash Legend, Shawn Spears, and formerly Peyton Royce or Cassie Lee now, Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder, and Chelsea Green, Montez for Bianca Belair, Braun Strowman, Raquel Rodriguez, Nick Aldis, Mickie James, Buddy Matthews or Buddy Murphy with Rhea Ripley, Ludwig Kaiser, Tiffany Stratton, Johnny and Candice, Jimmy Uso and Naomi, Carmelo Hayes and Kelani Jordan, Aleister Black or Malachi Black. I mean, I think he's going to be coming back to WWE as Aleister Black, I would imagine. But him and Zelina Vega, Miz and Maryse, Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and Seth and Becky. So a lot of star-studded teams. All of these teams, I at least tried to make sure are still together. I'm pretty sure all 16 of them still together. It's going to be awkward if any of them aren't. But not to waste your guys' any time any longer, because we got a lot of matches to get through. Let's get into the first match of the tournament. And that first match being CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Trick Williams, former NXT champion, and Lash Legend. We'll catch you with the highlights of every match. I mean, if I wanted to show you every second of every match, the video would take forever, so I'm going to try to show you guys the highlights. And I really wanted to put this video together since the intergender wrestling is, you know, a thing in the game this year, and you don't have to do mixed tag matches, which are heavily restricted. So the rules are pretty simple, just tornado tag, no disqualifications. Everyone can fight everyone, and madness can ensue. Everyone fighting on the outside right now as Punk gets Trick back into the ring, so Punk and Trick alone. It's one fall to a finish as Trick with the leaping clothesline. AJ taking care of Lash on the outside, but Williams in the ring is trying to take care of Punk. I think Punk and AJ probably your favorites in the tournament if you had to, you know, put a bet down. So, you know, it'd be, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it'd be a pretty big upset if they went down in round one. AJ setting up a table on the outside, Trick with Punk up on his shoulders, and he ends up driving his fist right into the face of Punk as he is going to try to drag Punk to the center of the ring. Lash now in, AJ in, everybody in the ring, and AJ is going to set him up with the Shining Wizard. Lash drops Punk, but AJ into the cover. The Shining Wizard can put him away as it's a cover. Lash is not going to be able to break it up, but Trick kicked out anyway. And Punk now rolling under the bottom rope. Now it's a bad situation for AJ as it's going to be potentially 2-on-1 if Punk can't get up there in time as he's finally back in the ring. Trick with the neck breaker. Lash is going to have AJ up, and it is not going to be a reverse arm drag. It looked like it was going to be a choke slam, and AJ now measuring Lash as Trick set up outside the ring, and AJ went for the Shining Wizard again, but this time catches her with the enziguri, so no Shining Wizard, but still kicking her upside the head. Later on, Punk is measuring Trick for a suicide dive, diving through the second rope and leaving AJ and Lash in the ring again, and AJ with another counter. Lash tried to get her up again, AJ countered again, and now alone in the ring as AJ, well, that's another counter too as Lash drops her with the clothesline. So these two, despite never wrestling before, got each other scouted pretty well. Trick Williams, meanwhile, he's gonna drop him with the spinning neck breaker into the cover, and AJ distracted, can't break up the pin. Punk down, and he kicks out. AJ realized too late, but Punk's still able to kick out. We got two tables set up outside the ring. I don't even know if those are gonna end up getting used, but now Trick dealing with AJ as he's gonna drop her with the DDT. Punk, meanwhile, it's just alone in the ring with each other as AJ and Lash down on the outside. AJ back to her feet, but she's a little groggy as Punk is going to get a kick caught by Trick, and Trick Williams is going to be caught in a pump handle and up for a suplex, but Punk countered. Lash, meanwhile, dove and missed on the outside, and AJ is going to be able to capitalize with that as Lash crashed and burned. Now she's getting a weapon. Punk set up, springboard, clothesline, dropping Trick, and now setting him up. You know what comes next as Punk ready to put him to sleep up on his shoulders, and Trick Williams will be going to sleep as AJ on the outside takes out Lash, and Lash can't break up the pin. Trick all alone, and that's gonna be the first match of the tournament going to Punk and AJ. So the favorites get their victory in the round one opener as we're going to be heading over quickly. We're going to be flying through this tournament, get you with a couple of minutes of each match, all the key moments and highlights as match number 2. How about Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae versus what I'd say is one of the more odd couples when it comes to their on-screen personalities, as Ludwig Kaiser, Tiffany Stratton together. Stratton, meanwhile, is getting dropped with a poison run on the outside. Candice, meanwhile, in the ring springboard. Candice LeRae, probably one of the most well-equipped people to be in this tournament. I mean, she's fought intergender matches a lot throughout her career, and her and Johnny probably the most in-sync team in the tournament. They have been teammates, they have been opponents on the indies, and Candice LeRae has fought bigger and badder people than Ludwig Kaiser. No disrespect to him, as the drop kick is going to catch him off the top rope, and Candice LeRae now measuring and setting him up for a wicked stepsister. Johnny, meanwhile, shoves a table into the ring and right in position to stomp Ludwig's head right on a table. That's what I mean. Great, just team chemistry right there. He could have pinned Kaiser. He might have been down and out, but I guess they're not done quite yet. Johnny, kick to the knee, now kick to the face as Kaiser's getting bullied down, as Kaiser is going to kick out at 2, so great toughness from Kaiser. Meanwhile, Tiffany and Candice, they got some on-screen history and beef with one another as Johnny springboard hurricanrana as Candice LeRae fighting out from Stratton, as it's going to be Stratton down, and Stratton's really not done much of this match. He's been getting thoroughly handled as they got the Gargano escaping, and Johnny is going to at least distract Kaiser long enough, but Johnny's not going to be able to allow Candice to get the tap out victory, as she's going to go for it again, though this time Kaiser is in the ring. He's going to be a little bit more aware of it and break it up, but Tiffany is needing some help bad from Ludwig, as that pin's probably not going to get anywhere as Johnny breaks it up. But Johnny and Candice have looked like the more in-sync team, have looked like the better team in this match so far. I don't think that comes as a surprise, but Ludwig and Tiffany need to do something here, as Tiffany's been on the verge of losing this match multiple times. Meanwhile, Ludwig Kaiser is going to hit with the inverted exploder suplex, and Tiffany going to keep Johnny at bay as Candice is going to kick out at 2. Tiffany's got a table, setting it up, and now they could do a little 2-on-1 action while Johnny is down, but Candice underneath the bottom rope, and maybe not in the best of positions here, as I was thinking Ludwig was maybe going to go for some sort of suplex through the table, but now Tiffany, measuring Johnny, is going to dive through the ropes with a suicide dive, and now Ludwig and Tiffany finally in control, but Candice LeRae with the hurricane on the outside. Tiffany, meanwhile, on the other side, is going to hit the Alabama slam on the floor, and Candice, he's chasing after Tiffany. I think she sensed that Johnny was in a little bit of trouble, but now the two girls meeting up in the middle of the ring, table set up, and Ludwig Kaiser, meanwhile, is going to go after Johnny while he is down. Candice, meanwhile, is going to have Tiffany up for a suplex. Tiffany reverses, chop block to the back of the knee. Kaiser on the top rope is going to drop down. I don't know what just happened there, but Johnny, I guess, escaped with a crucifix. That was weird. As Candice LeRae, how about again, number 2, wicked stepsister, is going to stop Ludwig's face right into the mat. Johnny, meanwhile, on the top rope. Tiffany out of the way, and Candice now is going to go put in the Gargano escape, and Johnny's at least distracting Tiffany. Tiffany down, Ludwig in the ring, all alone, nowhere to go. Is he gonna tap out? He's not going to quite yet, as Tiffany is got to get in the ring and help Ludwig out, as Kaiser is fighting back, but he's already taken so much punishment. One big move can end it, but Kaiser drops her with the clothesline. Tiffany's got a ladder on the outside. I don't know what that's going to really do, but I guess she's trying to get creative here. Johnny, meanwhile, back up. He's going to drop Tiffany. Kick to the face. Kaiser up top rope. Splash. Dropping down. And Candice down for the count. 2. And kicking out. Johnny, meanwhile, has got the Gargano escape on the outside. Tiffany gets out. Candice with the kip up in the ring. Ludwig is going to have to respond quickly because he wasn't expecting Candice to kip right back up to her feet. Ludwig trying to struggle and fight away from that table. Drops down. down, snapmare off the ropes, and coming back with a kick to the face, as Tiffany and Johnny, meanwhile, are fighting over by the commentary table. Candice back up to her feet, back elbow, into the ring goes Tiffany, as the cover is going to get broken up, so Tiffany in to help, and now it's going to be up to Tiffany and Candice, as Candice LeRae has got Tiffany down. Ludwig out the ring. No one can save Tiffany now. It's going to be another wicked stepsister, as now into the cover. Johnny protecting. How about one more dive for good measure, as it's going to be down for the count. Ludwig couldn't get in time, and Candice and Johnny move on to the second round, as one team definitely looked way more in sync than the other. Johnny and Candice showing that, they might be one of the best teams in this tournament, just off pure experience, and a lot of times going up against each other, going up against other teams on the indies. They've teamed up in NXT. They've teamed up all over the world. And a team like Ludwig and Tiffany not quite having that experience. But how about a really fun matchup up next? It's going to be Braun Strowman and Raquel Rodriguez, the biggest team, versus Bianca and Montez, probably the most athletic team in the entire tournament. So we're going to have a fun matchup here. Raquel pinning, but no, it's going to be broken up by Montez, as Braun Strowman with the just big clubbing fist to the chest on Montez Ford, as Bianca Belair up to her feet. I think this is a really fun matchup. I mean, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. I mean, how crazy is it that Montez Ford can have the vertical jump that he has, be as crazy athletic as he is, and not even be the best athlete in his own household, as Braun Strowman dropping Montez on the outside. Meanwhile, in the ring, Bianca off the shoulders of Raquel. Bianca fighting back, one of the best in the world, as she's going to drop Raquel with the spine buster. Braun is going to slowly get back into the ring. Raquel is going to kick out, so that's going to be a big difference in this match. Montez and Bianca, two of the fastest members, while Braun and Raquel, big, strong, not so fast, so they're not going to be able to maybe be as quick when it comes to breaking up pins for one another. And Bianca, meanwhile, got Raquel up on the top rope, clubs her down, and Montez Ford, meanwhile, drops Braun with the clothesline and sets up the pin, and Raquel kicks out. Braun, meanwhile, I think his clothesline is a little bit more powerful, as now Braun taking his attention to Bianca, who went up for the power slam, but Bianca slips off, goes for the knee, and that's how you got to take down those big guys. You got to chop them down by the legs. Montez Ford, I think you should be dancing right now. I think Montez Ford needs to maybe help his wife out a little bit instead of dancing on the apron. Braun in the ring, he's fired up, and now Raquel on the outside slamming Bianca down. But yeah, Montez Ford, how about you help out a little bit, as he's going to try to take care of Braun Strowman. Meanwhile, Bianca, look at that, gorilla press slam, look at that, the strength. But meanwhile, Braun in the ring with the power slam, and the power of Bianca and Braun both being showcased. Montez Ford kicking out of the power slam. Bianca couldn't get in time, but Montez Ford still kicking out, as now to DDT. She tried to spear Braun right into that corner, but Braun Strowman is going to be, I think, more angry than ever, as now Montez Ford fighting off the shoulders. How did he kick out of the power slam? But now roll up for Montez Ford, trying to steal one, as Bianca Belair, meanwhile, up on the shoulders. It's going to be a KOD. Meanwhile, these two are going back and forth, pinning each other, and Bianca, after the KOD, is going to go for the pin, and Braun Strowman is over here manhandling Montez Ford and not able to break up the pin, and Bianca and Montez with the victory, as that is, Montez Ford was a funny one there. I mean, he was dancing, he was taking a beating, and then ultimately set up for Bianca to do her thing, get the victory, as now we go to Miz and Maryse, a very experienced, well-versed team, as they are very, it's teams like this that are very similar, like the Johnny and Candice is very similar, very much on page, very much on script with one another. And then you got the Zelina and Aleister Black, says they're, very different wrestling styles, very different on screen with one another. Aleister Black, one of the best strikers. I'm going to end up calling him Aleister a lot because that's just what I'm used to, but he's coming back anyway. I'll just call him Aleister Black. It don't matter. As Aleister, oh my goodness, looked like he bounced his face off the apron. But yeah, one of the best strikers in all of wrestling. Meanwhile, Zelina high flying over the top rope, as she is just a really undersized, plucky underdog who is as resilient as they get. And it's going to be a fun matchup between, Miz and Maryse, who are, more brains than they are brawn in the ring at this point, as they're going to have Aleister Black throwing Maryse over to the outside, Matt, and now Miz doing the same thing. The Black, now it's going to be Miz dropping Zelina with the neck breaker. As this one, I think it's really a toss-up of who could win here. You got the experience of Miz and Maryse as a team against one another, and you got, you know, maybe a more talented duo in Black and Vega, as it's going to be Maryse just slapping Black in the face, as it's, you know, going to be kind of what goes on here. Just disrespectful acts from Miz and Maryse, as Miz dropping Zelina with the DDT on the outside. Meanwhile, Maryse dropping Black with a axe handle, as Black now back to his feet, and oh my goodness, it looked like both of them went for a strike. It looks like Black caught her, and now it's going to be a couple of German suplexes on the floor. That's not what you want to see if you're Maryse. Miz is going to have to wait and watch as Zelina Vega kick to the gut, and now Black is in control of Maryse. Meanwhile, Zelina in the ring seems to be in control here. Springboard, and Miz diving out of the way. And Miz is going to have Zelina hooked for a skull-crushing finale, as it's going to now be Miz looking for Black, as he got another move in him. The table kind of stood up. It's kind of blocking our view right now. Pretty impressive that the table able to stand up like that, but Miz getting away as Zelina is down. This could be a 2-on-1 situation. Miz with a boot to the face. Black turned around, and he's got him hooked for the skull-crushing finale. Meanwhile, the Maryse is going for the pin. Oh, Miz's skull-crushing finale to Vega, and Vega kicks out. But because of that, both of them simultaneously get angry. But because of Maryse pinning Vega, and I guess wanting the glory to herself, it's going to lead to Miz not being able to get a proper pin on Alistair. And now Zelina fighting out of the DDT, and Zelina and Black might have just got saved. I mean, that was crazy. Both of them, though, very simultaneous in their anger of the kickouts, but I think Miz could have had that if Maryse would have just let Miz go for the pin on Black and not tried to pin Vega, as Miz just threw a table right at Zelina's face. And now a little double team action, kick from Maryse, and then the clothesline from Miz. Looking like it's going to be a 2-on-1 situation now, as Black's going to have to try to fight back, but Maryse accidentally took out Miz, and now Alistair with the moonsault off the top. Maryse taking out Miz, and that's now twice that Maryse has potentially robbed him of this match. Black is going to get the 2 count. Miz kicking out, but Maryse is just really messing things up right now. Miz, meanwhile, throwing Black outside the ring. Vega back in. Now it's 2-on-1 for Vega to try to deal with, but she's got a code red, and Miz outside the ring, and he's gonna go for Black, but now Maryse getting pinned in the ring off the code red, as Vega is not gonna get the 3 count. Maryse kicking out, so she saves them there. But this is not what you would have thought. You would have thought Miz and Maryse would be a little bit more in sync, as now Miz hooking Black for the DDT. Vega is down and out on the outside of the ring. Miz for the cover, as they're trying to salvage this one after some miscommunications. Black kicking out at 2, and Miz not able to put him away. I don't know what Maryse is doing with the ladder, but it could be time for some skull-crushing finale, but Black is able to slip away. Knee to the face, as now Black mass! Oh my goodness, he just kicked Maryse's face off, and onto the cover, and Black and Vega move on. Oh my goodness, Black just turned around and absolutely kicked the face of Maryse. I think he might have broke her nose, but that was a lot of issues for Miz and Maryse to try to overcome there. I mean, Maryse taking out Miz, potentially costing them the pin earlier in the match, and you know, she ends up taking the pin. But how about next match up? We have Shawn Spears and Cassie Lee, formerly Peyton Royce, and that's a low blow, as Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green, probably one of the more obnoxious teams we'll have, as the cover off the low blow is going to be a kick out at 2. Meanwhile, an Unprettier is going to have Lee down. Chelsea Green trying to get the victory for her team, and it's going to be a kick out, so both members of the team kicking out, as Lee and Spears able to get out at 2. But Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona, I think, again, one of those teams that's going to be very much in sync. Chelsea's had a lot of experience too in all kinds of matches on the indies, and she's also one of the more calculated people on the roster, as Green is going to have a lot of misdirection happening here, but it's going to result in Shawn Spears just dropping her with the Death Valley Driver, and now into the ring. Cardona is going to be able to break up the pin, but Chelsea, I think, maybe outsmarted herself a little bit, as that was one heck of a punch, as Cardona out the ring. Green now all by herself. I don't think you know, Alba Fire or Piper Niven are going to be coming out to save her in this one, as there's no interference. It's just these four in the ring, as onto the table goes Chelsea Green, as Shawn Spears looking to drop her through, and he's got her up through the table, and meanwhile Cardona getting pinned, and he kicks out at 2. Chelsea rolls out, and now we got more 2-on-1 opportunities here while Chelsea is outside the ring. Meanwhile, Lee is going to have him up at the suicide dive. Meanwhile, on the outside was missed. Chelsea's going to be able to get back in the ring, but I don't think she's going to. She's running in circles. But Matt Cardona is able to kick out. I don't know if that was some indecisiveness or what that was, but it was the same result regardless. Match isn't over yet. Meanwhile, Shawn Spears, no surprise here. He's got a chair in his hand, but it's going to be stopped by Cardona, as it's going to be now hooking him for a suplex. That's going to be with the bridge, as he's down 2 and not gonna get the 3 count. It looked like he just barely even got a 2 count, as now Cassie Lee is going to have another table set up. We already seen Chelsea Green go through 1 table. I don't think she's ready to go through another one, as that could be all but done for her if she does, but it's going to potentially be Shawn Spears this time going through it, as it's going to be hooking him up, doing exactly what was done to Chelsea Green with the suplex through the table. Green down. Meanwhile, the second rope splash, as now we advance over to another point in the match where it's going to be a Rough Rider try, but Cassie catches him and drops him. Meanwhile, the chairman's getting beat up with a chair, as Chelsea Green's taking care of him on the outside. Meanwhile, in the ring, Cardona with the counter. I think he went for the Rough Rider. Okay, I think he went for it twice, but I guess he overshot it or something, but a Rough Rider meanwhile on the outside of the ring from Chelsea. Okay, well, the Rough Rider was hit regardless, and the DDT, as Chelsea now measuring Spears. Spears is being taken care of by Chelsea Green. Cardona to the top rope. Green, meanwhile, springboard to the outside, and down in the ring is Cassie Lee with the elbow drop, and now down with the elbow drop, and one more move could potentially finish this one off, but Cassie Lee with the reversal, so we're not through yet, as meanwhile the chairman getting booted in the face. I think Chelsea Green's been maybe the MVP of this match, as she has been keeping Shawn Spears at bay. Meanwhile, Cassie Lee's just barely surviving inside the ring, as Spears finally fighting back, finally getting some answers, and he's got Chelsea up on his shoulders, but meanwhile in the ring is going to be Cardona. He can't hit the Rough Rider. Well, he did sort of there. I think he hit enough of it, as the count is going to be broken up. I don't think he lost it, but okay, there you go. That's a Rough Rider. That's how you hit it this time around. Or is Cassie Lee just like too short for him to hit the Rough Rider on? That's weird, as he's going to have Shawn Spears in the middle of the ring. I guess slam his knee one more time for good measure, but he's basically pinning him off the Rough Rider, and he's down alone in the middle of the ring. 2 count, make it a 3. And that is going to be Cardona and Chelsea Green with the victory in a very odd way. I mean, you know, you would have thought that he would have pinned him off the Rough Rider, but hey, it doesn't matter regardless. Green and Cardona move on, and they will be heading to the second round, so we'll be getting into another first round match. Up next, we get to see another one of the favorite teams in this tournament. How about Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, a absolute dynamic duo, as Buddy, one of the most fun movesets in all of wrestling, and Rhea, one of the most dominant wrestlers in all of wrestling. And meanwhile, on the other side, you got SmackDown GM, current SmackDown GM Nick Aldis, and legend Mickie James. It's a fun match of a whole bunch of different styles and personalities in here, as Aldis is going to have Rhea up in the Gorilla Press Slam, and now going for the cover. Mickie James, meanwhile, taking care of Buddy on the outside. Rhea down in the middle of the ring, kick out at 2, as Buddy is going to now deal with Aldis, have him up for a neck breaker, and Rhea basically spearing Mickie James, and Buddy is going to watch as the pin is going to get a 2 count kick out, but he's going to fly over the top rope, taking out Aldis. And now Rhea alone with Mickie in the ring. I mean, Rhea Ripley and Mickie James as a match by itself would be a great one, as a pedigree on the outside from Buddy. And now Mickie, off the ropes goes Rhea, as she drops her with a super kick, and now taking control in the match was Mickie James for a little bit, and Aldis eventually found himself back in the ring, and look at what Aldis has over there. He's throwing Rhea outside the ring. What a fall that Rhea takes, and Aldis now taking care of Buddy in the ring with the splash, and now Mickie James is going to have a beat up Rhea on the outside of the ring, and now Mickie James taking care of Rhea, while Aldis has got a kick to the gut, has him up, and it could be all over for Rhea, and Buddy pin is gonna get a 1, a 2, and Buddy kicks out. As now Rhea gets Mickie back into the ring, finally getting back into things here after taking that harsh fall to the outside. And Rhea with the clotheslines. About 1, get her up. How about 2? And then 1 more, this time underneath. Rip cord, kick to the face. As Buddy has got Aldis now in position. Couple of kicks and a sling blade. What a combo from Buddy. As now Rhea and Buddy taking control of this one. Kick out at 2. At least at this point in time in the match, it really could go any way. I think if you were betting, you'd bet on Rhea and Buddy. But Mickie and Aldis have really done a good job in this one. As you can't count out, you know, especially like Mickie James being a legend and Nick Aldis being, you know, maybe out of the ring for a couple of years, but he's still really good in his own right, as it's going to be a last ride powerbomb. But Rhea is going to break up the pin as Mickie was not there to really help Aldis out. She is stuck leaning against the ropes, and Rhea, what a drop from her. But there goes Mickie James, a springboard bulldog. Rhea right back up to her feet, though. And Rhea Ripley not going down. And how about a knee to the face? Into the cover. And now Mickie down. 2, kick out. Buddy, meanwhile, has Aldis for a pedigree. Now all this is down for the count. Rhea is able to distract Mickie long enough for the 2 count, and he gets broken up. I think he might add it, but Mickie able to break it up in time, and now a Mick kick into the cover. Rhea's not able to break it up as down goes Buddy. 2, and a kick out, and I think Rhea also got there in time regardless, but a Mick kick almost put an end to it as Rhea is now dealing with Aldis catching the boot and dropping her with the clothesline. Mickie James is got Buddy set up, and now Aldis 2, both of them are gonna get him. Down goes Buddy, last ride on Rhea. 2, and Mickie James can't get the victory. That was the moment. That was the perfect moment. Oh my goodness, the DDT and the last ride powerbomb. But meanwhile, now as we jump ahead in the match, a suplex through the table. Rhea throwing in another table for Buddy, as now Buddy got Mickie set up, looking for the finish, as he's got Mickie James set up for a little Murphy's Law. And I'm gonna say that that's gonna be it potentially, because a Riptide on the outside is not gonna end it. All this got dropped with the Riptide. Meanwhile, in the ring, Mickie was down with no one to save her, and she's still kicked out. Buddy missing a springboard. But now both situations where they go and hit their big moves, and it looks like it's gonna be down, and Mickie kicked out, and Buddy kicked out, and everybody just able to survive a little bit longer. But now Rhea trying to end it herself. She's got Mickie James up, set up for the Riptide, and now Mickie ran right into it, into the cover. 2 and 3. Rhea does it for her team. It was too much for Mickie to handle. Riptide in the end gets the job done, and Buddy and Rhea move on to the next round. How about our next match? A really fun one. Some great athletes here with Naomi and Kelani Jordan. We definitely got, you know, Kelani Jordan and Carmelo Hayes, a team of the future. One of the best young couples in all of wrestling, as that's going to be a little first 48 action after the rear view. But now Naomi dropping Hayes. How about going for the cover, as Kelani is there. She can break it up, and she will. As meanwhile on the other side, we got Naomi and Jimmy Uso, so obviously a lot of experience here. It's a team of great youth and athleticism versus a team where Naomi's also a great athlete herself, but a lot more experience. As the kicks rapid fire one after another. Hayes trying to block, but he didn't. Catches one to the face, and then Naomi dropping Kelani with the jawbreaker. I think a lot of people would love to see a Kelani Jordan versus Naomi match, and we're getting to see a little bit of it there as Kelani kicks out at 2. And now alone in the ring is Naomi. Meanwhile, Jimmy and Carmelo are fighting on the outside. Naomi is going to go for a suicide dive, dropping Kelani as she falls onto a table, as Jimmy now into the ring with Carmelo Hayes. Stomping out Hayes as he is going to go to the top rope. Could we be thinking Uso splash here, as he will drop Hayes with the splash. Kelani on the top rope now, as I don't think she realizes that the Uso splash has been hit. She takes out Naomi, but the cover on Hayes. Hayes kicks out at 2. That was so close. Jordan and Naomi were down on the outside. It looked like Carmelo Hayes was done for. Now Uso go for the super kick. Hayes caught it, and Carmelo Hayes now gets countered there as Uso with the headbutt. Don't want to get into a headbutting battle with the Samoan, as now Uso to the top rope. Could he be going for the splash one more time? No, he's going to have Carmelo get up as Kelani Jordan at least read a little bit of a distraction. I don't know what that was all about, but Uso, whatever little distraction Kelani may have tried to do, did not work, as Uso on top. Kelani and Naomi battling it out on the outside of the ring as Uso off the ropes, measuring Hayes, go for the spear, but Carmelo out of the way as he now goes for a kick, and Uso out of the way. Now the two trading counters, one after another, snapmare, and off the ropes. Hayes, he's gonna kick right in the face, a boot right to the face as Uso out of the ring, and Carmelo going for a baseball slide, couldn't get him down, but then a springboard clothesline, dropping Uso. These two going back and forth. What a little sequence there is Naomi in the ring, and Naomi gets dropped, and the tornado flatliner drops Naomi into the cover. Uso can't help her. 2 kick out by Naomi. Kelani, everybody back in the ring now as Jordan off the ropes, and into the corner goes Uso, as now in the corner she's going to go up, caught, spinning, and the DDT, as meanwhile Naomi hits a stunner. Just the girls in the ring up in their feet, but the rear view drops Kelani down. Naomi couldn't go for the cover there, but now we jump ahead to a little bit later on in the match as Carmelo Hayes, I don't know how effective that's gonna be, but I guess it worked out enough as Uso dropping Kelani down, one half of the 1D through the table and into the cover. Hayes into the ring to break it up, and he will, so they won't even get a 1 count, but Kelani could have been down for good there as Carmelo Hayes with the roll up trying to steal one from the Uso, and that's gonna be just a kick out at 0-2. Naomi more kicks as Uso try to kick of his own, he misses, Naomi doesn't. Kelani off the ropes, and outside the ring goes Jimmy as Kelani moonsault, make Naomi miss with the chair shot. She dodged it off the ropes with the moonsault. That was impressive. Kelani, I don't know why you got a football here, and that's not really gonna do much for you, as a super kick by Jimmy, up back on her feet, and how about another super kick, but this time she catches it and gets her with a spinning heel kick of her own. Naomi and Kelani now back at it in action. Hurricane. We jump ahead where Carmelo Hayes back in the ring, Naomi laying out on the outside. Jimmy goes for a super kick. Kelani makes a miss and now throwing him into the corner. Carmelo Hayes, I think you're doing a little too much taunting right now, but Kelani Jordan is going to go up for split-legged moonsault right onto Jimmy as he's going in for the cover, and Jimmy kicks out at 2. That could have done it, and that is going to be a heartbreaker for Kelani Jordan. Leads a drop kick to the back, and now later on Naomi is going to have Carmelo Hayes set up and dropping him head first onto the table, as now Jimmy back into the ring. Kelani is going to take care of Naomi with the leg drop. Jimmy is going to now have to deal with Kelani, who goes right back into the corner. Could she be going forward again? No, she won't. Instead, it's going to be a cartwheel. How about a little back elbow showing off the gymnastics, as now Kelani all alone in the ring. I mean, it's great that you took out Naomi. It's great that you took out Jimmy, but you got to get him in the ring to pin them, as Kelani is going to dive through the ropes. Suicide dive onto Jimmy. Carmelo Hayes, meanwhile, has got Naomi hooked and dropping her with the cutter. So Carmelo and Kelani in control, but nobody's in the ring. You gotta go get them into the ring so you can pin them. It looks like Carmelo and Kelani have this match won, though. They just need to get somebody in so they can pin them. Carmelo gonna do just that. Naomi in the ring, and he's going for the cover. Jimmy is gonna slip away, and he's going to be able to break it up. That might have been able to do it, but Jimmy slipped away. Got the pin broken up. Meanwhile, now the two switching opponents as Jimmy is going to drop an elbow to the face of Carmelo. Pin him. Roll up onto Carmelo Hayes. 1, 2, and Jimmy Uso steals it, as Carmelo Hayes and Kelani Jordan have the defeat handed to them in a heartbreaking way. It looked like they had the match in control. They had it won, but Jimmy just slips away and gets the roll-up in time as we head to our final match in round 1. I would say it's another one of those teams that you'd probably consider among the favorites in this tournament, Becky and Seth, as they are, you know, one of the few teams that have both members as like true certified main event players, main event talents. They're taking on Carrie and Kross and Scarlett, who is a pretty strong team themselves. So we're going to see who the final team to move on to round 2 will be, as early on in this match, Seth got taken to the outside of the ring by Scarlett. Scarlett, another one of those girls who's had experience doing like intergender matches. She's done a whole bunch of stuff on the indies, so she's another one of those girls who's pretty well equipped to be in a tournament like this, as you know, having that experience is probably going to help her out a decent amount, as Becky meanwhile is taking care of carrying Kross and getting him into submission here, while Scarlett's going to get a weapon. She's got a table. A lot of tables getting involved in this tournament. I feel like every match has basically had some sort of involvement of a table. Meanwhile, as we jump ahead, it is set up in the ring. All 4 members of the match in the ring. Becky's going for a little roll up here as Kross is down, but not even going to get a 1 count, as Seth is going to drop Scarlett. Becky, meanwhile, rolling through. Scarlett rolls out of the ring. Meanwhile, Becky's rolling into a disarmer here, as Seth is basically guarding, making sure that Scarlett can't do anything, but Kross is going to be able to get out of the disarmer. And now leaving Becky to measure Kross. Looking maybe for a manhandle slam, but Seth and Scarlett, meanwhile, are kind of fighting in between. Seth setting up for a pedigree, as that's not going to be going his way, as Scarlett reverses, gets out of it, and then drops her with a clothesline, and then a code breaker to Becky, as Scarlett really turns the tides of the match there. So it seems like Kross and Scarlett are fighting things well as we jump ahead. Becky in the ring working on Kross's arm. Meanwhile, Seth outside of the ring with Scarlett, another table set up, and Seth is going to drop Scarlett through the table. Meanwhile, in the ring, Kross going to try to put Becky through the table, but Becky slips out of it, and Becky avoiding disaster there, fighting back with Kross nearby that table, dropping Kross with a DDT. So Becky avoiding disaster there, as Scarlett's recovered pretty quickly after getting dropped through that table. Becky to the top rope, Kross laid out, and how about a little leg drop off the top into the cover, and Kross down. Pin is gonna get a 2 count. Scarlett back into the ring, as Seth gonna be in chase and in pursuit of her potentially, but no, Becky just drops her with a manhandle slam. Now Seth back into the ring, not gonna be able to stop Kross from breaking up the pin, but now with the kendo stick in hand, just whacking both of them with it, as Becky was able to avoid disaster of going through a table, drop Kross, then drop Scarlett. Both Kross and Scarlett now probably outside the ring to regroup a little bit, and maybe Becky and Seth are thinking the same thing here. Becky, suicide dive, Seth over the top rope, and both of them thinking the same thing, dropping both of them, and that's some great teamwork there. Kross, meanwhile, getting handled on the outside with a little arm bar. Seth inside the ring with Scarlett is going to get countered, and Scarlett with the clothesline. Scarlett now twice has had big counters on Seth, as she is going to drop Seth. Meanwhile, Kross on the outside of the ring did hit a little Saito suplex, so Becky can't break up the pin, as Seth kicks out at 2. Kross also still, you know, feeling the effects of some injuries previously in the match. Scarlett with a little dirty pin foot on the ropes, and that's not going to get anything more than just a 1 count, but Scarlett is got Seth up for a little rampage, and now down is Seth again into the cover. Referee got kind of bothered right there. I don't know if she got bumped by Becky rolling into the ring. Seth is going to end up kicking out at 1 instead. Probably still would have only gotten a 2 count. It was definitely inadvertent contact, as Becky has got Scarlett out with the manhandle slam. Kross, meanwhile, has got Seth hooked, and Kross is gonna drop Seth, but Becky is right there to break up the pin when she needs to, and she'll do just that. So Becky was not able to really capitalize on Scarlett, as now is Kross going for another pin, doing exactly what Scarlett did. So both of them, I guess, in sync, thinking the same thing. Both of them failing on a pin, then going for the dirty pin. Meanwhile, it's going to be a quick roll-up, going to get not even a 1 count, as Kross has got set up for the powerbomb, but Scarlett with the destroyer! And Seth, knee to the face of Kross. Now Seth turning his attention to Scarlett. Kick to the gut, off the ropes, and a curved stomp to Scarlett for the victory. Seth got her down. 1, 2, 2, and 3. Seth does just what he needs to basically save Becky there. Becky took a destroyer, but Seth was able to knee cross in the face, get him out of the way, hit the curb stomp, and pick up the win for the team. So Becky and Seth moving on to round 2. So let's take a look after round 1 at the updated bracket, where you will see we got some pretty fun matchups going into round 2. You really get to see some of the best teams in the world go at it, as you know, a lot of the favorites won their round 1 match. So I mean, there wasn't a lot of upsets. I would say that, you know, things are still pretty wide open. But I mean, with Punk and AJ, Seth and Becky, Johnny and Candice, Bianca, Montez, Buddy, Rhea, there's a lot of strong teams still here. Let's kick off round 2. First match of round 2, Punk and AJ won the opening match of round 1. Now they're in the opening match of round 2 against Chelsea Green, Matt Cardona, and everybody now with a win under their belts and looking to make that Final Four run, as AJ's got the Black Widow in, and now Chelsea Green unable to break things up. Things could be done pretty early on as Punk to the top rope. AJ not able to put him away as Punk with the elbow drop to Green. Backslide meanwhile for Cardona, as that's going to be broken up pretty quickly, as this match has been moving pretty fast. Cardona with the kick to the face. Green dropping a knee on the arm of AJ. Now it's Cardona to the top rope. Will he be doing the same thing? Yes, he will. Elbow drop to Punk. Green, meanwhile, got AJ. He was maybe going for the unprettier. Now a little small package roll up, and AJ capitalizes. Green was distracted for a moment. Shining Wizard into the cover. Green down, and AJ is not going to be able to win it there, as she almost had Green down. Green was literally distracted for a little moment on the small package, going to break it up, and AJ capitalized. Now AJ breaking a kendo stick over Cardona's face, as Matt Cardona gets kicked in the gut, and a little spinning heel kick. Chelsea Green with the suicide dive, taking out Punk, as now AJ's going to get both of them back in the ring. Green on her own, and then she forces Cardona in, and AJ on the apron getting into the ring, as Chelsea was just waiting for her. She's got her hooked, and down goes AJ into the cover, but Punk's got the vice in, and Punk made him tap, as that is a crazy way to end the match, as Chelsea Green might have had AJ down, but Punk made him tap before the cover could be completed, and that is going to result in a quick match where Punk and AJ move on to the Final Four. Now we get a really fun match here, and the other side, as it's going to be the winners of this match taking on Punk and AJ. How about Montez for Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, as Rhea to the top rope. She's got a splash, and Bianca rolls out of the way, and Bianca now with Rhea and going over towards the table, as Bianca looking to put her through it, as her and Rhea, every time they are in the ring together, it's just great matches left and right, as they're now trading strikes. Rhea avoided going through the table once, but will she avoid it again as the table gets collapsed? Maria dropped with the KOD, and now Bianca has got her into the cover. Buddy is there though. He'll break up the pin, but that was almost really disastrous, as Buddy just kicks Montez's face off, and then Anita Bianca. So Buddy saving things for the time being, as the referee also got knocked down in the process of everything happening, as Rhea now with Bianca up, delivering some strikes. And how about hooking her for a German suplex? Bianca down, 2-on-1. Montez still on the outside, sling blade, as it's going to be Bianca 2-on-1. Montez really got to help her out a little bit, but he's over here clearing out the announce table. There you go. Bianca, meanwhile, in the ring, gets back in control with the DDT, and Bianca just so difficult to keep down for long. She is just so powerful, so strong, and at any point in the match she could just turn things around. I do feel like some of these intergender matches really favor certain wrestlers more than others. Bianca, one that I do feel like is favorited because she is strong enough to lift some of these guys up. We've seen some struggles with some of these girls not able to lift these guys up. Girls like Candice LeRae, Zelina Vega not able to lift the guys up, but Bianca more than strong enough. Meanwhile, Buddy has her up, and that's a buckle bomb, and Buddy into the cover, as Rhea is going to be distracted Montez enough, as Bianca kicks out at 2, but Rhea is another one of those girls who really is going to be able to excel more than others in this match, because she's going to be strong enough to be throwing some of these guys around. Buddy, meanwhile, what a reversal there. Buddy's been amazing in this match, as He's going to have Bianca hooked up. How about another powerbomb? He's going to go for another buckle bomb as Buddy going towards the corner. This time, no buckle bomb. How about dropping her face first into the top turnbuckle as Bianca with a quick kick is going to be able to reverse as Bianca with the spear and dropping Buddy down, and now measuring for a KOD potentially here as Buddy's going to be able to reverse and drop the drop kick, but Bianca got out the way. So these two go counter for counter, but how about hooking Bianca for Little Murphy's Law and into the cover, and down is Bianca. Montez unable to do anything about it, but Bianca kicking out at 2. Rhea, meanwhile, trying to put Montez potentially through the table on the outside, but Montez surviving little by little. Now, meanwhile, in the ring, we have a second rope attempt for Bianca, rolling through. Look at Bianca, the power, and this is what I was talking about. One of the strongest girls on the roster, able to roll through. And then how about following that up with a little whip from the braid, and Buddy probably has a big just line across his chest or side. You seen that one that Liv caught from Elimination Chamber? That one was ridiculous. It seems like anytime you get whipped with that braid, you just get like a long-lasting scar around your torso area, as that almost got the 3 count. And now up for the KOD, but Buddy able to power out of it again. That's the second time he's countered the KOD, and Buddy at the very least has been able to survive, but Montez rolling out of the way of a springboard moonsault ladder into the ring. Rhea is going to hook her. I think that's going to be on the ladder. No, not quite, but a riptide onto Montez Ford. Bianca not able to do anything about it. 2, and Montez kicks out. Montez Ford kicking out, and a big boot to Bianca for daring to come to Montez's aid, but Montez Ford back-to-back times in this tournament, he has just survived what looks to be certain end as Buddy has him up, and one more big move could be done for Montez, but he gets out of it, and a little knee to the face as Ford into the cover, as Rhea not going to be able to get there in time, but Ford is not going to get even a 2 count. At least temporarily, these two could have the advantage on Rhea, and that's going to be a Uranagi, planting her in the center of the ring. Bianca back in, Buddy to his feet. Bianca going for a spear this time. Buddy counters with the DDT, and Buddy is now trying to deal with Ford, but another Uranagi, and Buddy now getting caught, as it's going to be Ford. He's getting caught in a small package, but a quick kick out at 1. Matthews going for another buckle bomb. Meanwhile, the prism trap onto Ford, and Ford is going to have it broken up. I don't know, maybe Buddy knows something that we don't. I don't know if he thought he just wasn't going to tap out there. Rhea with the elbow drop. Ford kicks out at 2, but Bianca rolling out of the ring, and I think maybe Buddy had a plan here. Maybe it was calculated. He's got Ford hooked. Meanwhile, Rhea takes out Bianca, and down in the ring is Ford. This is going to be perfect for the two of them to move on. Buddy and Rhea are moving on to the semifinals, and I guess breaking up that submission was the right move. Buddy did just what he needed to do, and Rhea perfectly taking out Bianca, Ford taking the pin. So we have our semifinals on that side of the bracket set up. Buddy and Rhea, they will be taking on Punk and AJ. Meanwhile, on this side of the bracket now, we got Johnny and Candice. They're taking on Jimmy and Naomi. It's Johnny with the suicide dive onto Naomi. Candice into the cover, meanwhile, onto Jimmy, and he's gonna get a 2 count as Jimmy kicking out. As this one could really go either way, as Candice with the springboard. Candice was incredible in the last match, so we're gonna see if she can keep up with her like star-studded performances, as Jimmy having Candice up alone in the middle of the ring with her super kick, and another one in the back of the head this time. 2 super kicks into the cover. Johnny back in, breaking it up. Ladder now set up outside the ring. Springboard drop kick. We got a table on the other side of the ring set up, and now Naomi kicks. Down goes Candice by Jimmy, but Johnny this time ducking out, delivering a punch, and dropping Naomi with the Gargano escape, as Jimmy's gonna need to break it up. Jimmy does break it up. A lot of action happening right now. Hard to keep up with it. I am just one person. You know, usually wrestling commentary teams got 2 to 3 people, and I'm out here having to do play-by-play and commentary, color commentary, and all this other stuff, as now Johnny is going to get a 2 count on the inside of the ring. Naomi with the kip up as she is going to hook Johnny, dropping him down. And Candice, I don't know if she's going to be able to break up any sort of pin. She's not going to be able to. It's going to be up to Johnny to do it himself. And he does kick out at 2 as Candice maybe thinking she's got to go help Johnny out a little bit, and she will go and try to, as Naomi to the top rope. And will she be able to stop her? I think she will be able to. There you go, throwing her off the top, saving Johnny. Meanwhile, Jimmy outside of the ring messing with the table, but he's leaving Naomi to get 2-on-1 attacked right now as Candice and Johnny now waiting for Jimmy, and that's going to be a miss from Candice. Jimmy is going to drop him with a spear, so Jimmy taking on a 2-on-1 right now, but Candice, you can see one of the things I referenced last match with some of the girls not being able to lift some of these guys. Candice is trying, she's just not strong enough, and a super kick. So girls like Rhea, girls like Bianca have an advantage in this where Candice just can't do it, as a super kick from Jimmy. How about go for another one? Johnny making a miss. Maybe Jimmy's getting a little too predictable with these super kick tries, as Johnny's got him hooked for a little nice bread, and Candice almost got taken over the barricade into the crowd with that clothesline, as now both teams in the ring. Candice now going to the outside, going for a weapon, as Naomi is measuring Johnny. Candice has a ladder, and Jimmy gonna mess that up for Naomi, it looks like, but maybe not for too long, as Naomi has Johnny hooked again. But Candice back into the ring is going to just leave Johnny to kick out because she trusted him, and it works out because now Candice with the wicked stepsister is gonna slam Jimmy's face into the mat. Now she's got to deal with Naomi, and she's not gonna be able to with a bunch of rapid fire kicks, and Naomi is not gonna be able to hit that one. Candice is gonna have her with the code red onto a ladder, and Candice, what a little sequence there from Candice. Like I said, she was going crazy in the first match, and now, once again, just taking on a 2-on-1 by herself and coming out on top. But a lot of work still needs to be done before this match can get over with. That's Candice with the reversal. Over the ropes goes Jimmy. Jimmy fighting back, and Candice is going to just drop him with a little kick. And now Candice finally able to lift Jimmy up, finally strong enough and throwing him through a table. Candice LeRae, are you kidding me? Naomi back into the ring. Now Johnny and Candice have a little 2-on-1 situation if they want to take advantage of it. Candice LeRae, springboard poison Rana. Are you serious? Candice LeRae into the cover, and that's gonna be a 2 count almost gotten, but Jimmy's gonna break it up before even a 2, as that I think could have done it right there. Candice going for the Gargano escape. Gargano getting a 2 count on Jimmy, and now the tap out could be here any second now. Jimmy not able to break things up. Johnny dropping him with a clothesline, but Naomi's able to get away from it, as Candice is going absolutely crazy right now. I don't think there's anyone more determined to win this tournament than her, it feels like. Johnny getting a 1 count in the ring. Candice, meanwhile, on the outside of the ring. Jimmy with the spear in the ring, as that was a cover on Johnny all alone. And Johnny kicks out at 2. Wicked stepsister on the outside. So much happening at all times, as Candice maybe getting back into the ring. Johnny, well, I guess he's okay. He dodges the super kick, and Candice going right back to dealing with Naomi. Jimmy, though, with the counter, and Johnny with the kip up. Johnny with the counter into the DDT, and Jimmy rolling out of the ring, staying on his face. Suicide dive! Oh my goodness, he almost got thrown through a table on a suicide dive. Okay, Candice and Naomi trading places, as they're going to be the ones inside the ring, while Jimmy and Johnny are outside, as Naomi going to roll through, going for the submission. I think Johnny needs to go in and break that up. Cutter on Jimmy, quick kip up, going into the ring. Is Candice going to be able to survive? Yes, she does. I think Naomi broke it, just knowing that Johnny was going to be there, but Johnny Gargano escaped. Jimmy is down. Naomi in the ring, and Naomi, is she going to be able to survive? Yes, she can. She fights through, as submissions left and right for these stars, as Candice LeRae, Hurricanrana, Johnny with the tornado DDT. Referee goes down. Johnny's down. Naomi's down. Jimmy down. The only one on her feet's Candice, and she is going for more weapons. I guess a football is what she's going for. It was the only thing left under the ring. as Johnny Gargano throwing Jimmy into the corner. Naomi gets a football thrown at her. And how about another Gargano escape as the referee is down? I don't even think it matters if Naomi taps out here. Referee is down. He can't see anything. As Johnny is going to watch as Naomi fights free. And Naomi now going to deal with Johnny before getting to Candice. As though she's going with Candice too right now. I guess she's trying to fight an uphill battle 2-on-1. Johnny breaks up the pin. Jimmy needs to get up now. Candice outside the ring. She goes. Jimmy back up. So now the tables have turned a little bit as it's back to a level playing field for Jimmy and Naomi as Johnny with the lawn dart throwing her face first into the second turnbuckle, and Johnny Gargano measuring as Jimmy is dealing with Candice on the outside with a chair, but Johnny Gargano, how about one more time? Gargano escape again. I don't know how much Naomi has left in her. Jimmy trying to get to the ring to stop it, but he can, and Naomi taps out. It took a couple of tries at it, but eventually Naomi could not survive. Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, they're moving on to the semifinals, and their opponents will await them for the final match of round 2, as they have been maybe the most fun team to watch in the first 2 matches so far. Candice has been like the MVP of this tournament so far, but our final match of round 2, Becky and Seth and Black and Vega. This one's going to be a fun one, as it's going to be Aleister Black having Becky hooked up. Power bomb, dropping Becky down and into the cover. Seth down. Becky is going to kick out at 0, not even get a 1 count as Black, as Zelina with the springboard right over Black and Becky, taking out Seth, as now Black with the Meteora taking out Becky with a series of kicks, but Becky right back up waiting for Black. That was a little ominous right there. Black had this whole brooding moment where he's sitting there cross-legged, and Becky popped up right before Black even did, as Black now with the Dragon Sleeper. Becky needs to break that one up, and she does, as already these two teams going at it with a lot of action, as Black with a suplex into the bridge. Meanwhile, there's a moonsault. Becky kicks out at 2. Zelina with the moonsault cover on Seth, as Vega and Black are just rolling right now. And now Becky and Seth, they need to regroup. They need to figure themselves out right now. Vega, wheelbarrow, arm drag. Black is going to go and miss Black Mass, but Vega is going to hook Seth up, go for an inverted DDT, but Seth counters. Becky, clothesline onto Black. Black going to roll out of the ring, and Becky and Seth now with the 2-on-1. Becky going to try to take advantage with a little roll up here, as Zelina down 1, 2, and Vega kicking out, as even though Black tried to break it up, Seth was there to intercept, as now we jump ahead to Black rolling out the ring once again. Vega with the backstabber. Seth maybe can help out a little bit, but he was distracted by Black. Zelina, meanwhile, code red, dropping Seth in the middle of the ring, in the cover, and Becky not able to break it up. Seth Rollins is going to kick out at 2.5. Vega almost pulling off a pretty big upset. If Zelina Vega were to pin Seth Rollins, that'd be crazy, but not quite moving on to the semifinals yet. How about another table? Because these guys and girls love bringing tables into the ring, as Vega throwing Seth off the ropes and is going to, I think, tried to trip him. Seth, I don't know, maybe he dodged, and now Seth Rollins, how about a pedigree? And Seth, a little tired there, he's going to crawl into the cover, maybe a little too delayed, but Vega down as a cover is gonna net a 2 count. Becky, meanwhile, on the outside had the disarmer in and was wearing Black down, so a well-timed disarmer to make sure Black couldn't do anything. We jump ahead where Black delivers a super kick and then a straight jacket German suplex. 2-on-1 for Becky to try to overcome. She's trying to deal with Vega. Now as Black moonsault off the second rope. Vega kind of goes down a little bit, but I think Black got all of it on Becky. To the top rope, Aleister goes, and measuring Becky. What is he going for here? Zelina going to deal with Seth, as the double axe handle drops Becky down into the cover, as Becky is going to kick out at 2. And Seth now trying to gain control on the outside on Vega. throwing her near the barricade. Meanwhile, in the ring, a little strike battle. I don't think you ever want to get into a striking battle with Aldis, so that's why Becky's not even going to bother. She counters the strike and rolls it, throw into the disarmor, and you don't want to get into a submission battle with Becky. So both of them using their strengths to their advantage as Aleister going to go back to striking, but Becky delivers one of her own. Aleister catching. Black trying to follow it up in the knee. Becky dodges, and these two countering one after another. Inverted DDT. Becky now setting things up. Vega is going to get into the ring. Becky has him hooked. Manhandle slam, but Vega is right there to stop Becky, and Becky countering, and Becky now going to cover Black, but it's not going to be able to get the job done there as Vega, I mean, Seth really could have helped out there, but Vega with the tornado DDT on Becky. Seth finally back into the ring, and Seth is going to be dropped, and that's going to be code red, and Aleister meanwhile going for the black mass, but Becky countered, and that could have been the end, but Becky's going to run right into a table shot to the face, but that could have been the end there, as Becky is just able to survive from the black mass. Meanwhile, Seth now pedigree, he's not going to be able to hit it, counter, and that's going to be a clothesline. Becky delivering strikes, dropping Vega, as now Black sliding out the ring. Becky to the top rope. Black going for the ladder. Becky going for a top rope leg drop. And there goes. They're into the cover. It's broken up as Aleister looked like he was going for a springboard. Seth caught him. And now Seth went for a back suplex but got caught there as Black going for the strikes. Becky, meanwhile, how about a manhandle slam onto Vega? But Seth is down, Black is up, and into the cover goes Becky. Black is not going to be able to break it up, but Vega kicks out. Seth stopped him from breaking it up, but Vega still kicked out. And now Vega is going to be down with Becky in the ring and on the verge of losing this one. I can't imagine she's going to be able to survive any other big shots. Becky now dropped to one knee. Vega off the ropes, and Zelina going to have her with a spiking or a Cardona on the top of her head and into the cover. Seth into the ring, able to break things up. And Seth right on time this time. Now we jump ahead to where all of the members of this match are right outside the ring, all in this one corner. I guess the fans who paid for those tickets getting a great view right now. As Vega to the inside of the ring. She's going to go with the little springboard outside. Seth dropping Black with an inverted DDT. Meanwhile, Seth has Vega up. Oh my goodness, just face planting onto the mat. I mean, any closer, she could have whacked her head off the barricade. Becky, meanwhile, taking care of Black's knees. I mean, I guess that's a good strategy if you want to take away someone's knees and someone's leg when they do what they do best is kicking. So, smart strategy from Becky. Now Black out of the way as Vega and Becky have been going at it all match. These two have put on a show as a code breaker. Both women are down. Pedigree on the other side. Seth has Black down. Eventually, they start getting into the ring where this match has to be finished, and Black has Becky down, and Black with the moonsault. Okay. He moved really quick there. It almost looked like he teleported with how quick he moved as Black goes to the top rope and measuring Becky. Vega back in. Seth, he's get back into the ring, and Black is gonna miss. Becky sidesteps. How about a curb stomp? And Zelina had her head stopped in. Black rolls out of the ring. Becky's gonna steal the pin, and Becky's gonna get it for her team, as that's gonna be the final team moving on to the semifinals. Becky and Seth take down Black and Vega. What a performance from Black and Vega, though. They were awesome to watch, as now we are down to the final four, and it's nothing but heavy hitters here, as a lot of the favorites have made it this far. How about Punk and AJ, Buddy, Rhea, and then Johnny, Candice, Seth, and Becky? So we have two awesome matches, and we could be setting up for a spectacular finals here. So let's get in to the semifinals. I really felt like that previous round, Rhea and Buddy versus Bianca and Montez, that match could have went either way. It was Rhea and Buddy taking them out, and now they get a tough matchup against Punk and AJ, who are definitely going to, I still think, be the favorites in this tournament, despite how good Becky and Seth have looked, and despite how good Johnny and Candice have looked. And Rhea and Buddy have also looked really good. Like, these four teams that remain here are all impressive, as AJ with the kick to the face of Rhea, and now rolling up Buddy from behind, and Buddy down, not even going to get a one count. Punk, meanwhile, pinning Rhea off the kick that AJ did, and Rhea only going to kick out at 1, so we're still early on in this one, a lot to go, and that's going to be sliced bread. Now setting Buddy up as she's going to want to go for that Shining Wizard, maybe the Black Widow. Punk drops down Rhea. How about Anaconda Vice and the Black Widow simultaneously? One of them's got to tap. Rhea fighting out, so Rhea's not going to tap, but how about Buddy? Buddy's not going to tap either, so both of them hitting their signature submissions, but not able to get things done. Rhea has Punk up on her shoulders. I don't know if she was going for a GTS right there, but that would have been bold as Punk has Rhea up. And Rhea slips out, chop block, back of the knee, and Rhea and Punk trading a nice sequence here as Rhea just spears them, and Punk gonna have to crawl to the corner, and what do you know, how about another table in this match? Meanwhile, Buddy on the outside has got her onto the apron, powerbomb, and then whipping her into like the LED board. Oh my goodness, that is brutal. AJ got up pretty quickly. Rhea, meanwhile, dropping Punk into the cover in the ring. 2 count, and Punk kicks out. So that was a lot happening right there. How about Punk pinning Rhea, but Buddy with the pedigree. Rhea kicks out at 1, and Buddy dropping a knee onto the side of AJ's head, going for the pin, but Punk breaks things up, and we have ourselves a massive warrior to go to the finals. How about some Murphy's Law? But AJ back up just in time, it looks like, to break up the pin. This match up until this point has been pretty even as both teams have had their advantage at their own times, as Rhea now taking control. AJ with the counter. Buddy, meanwhile, he's gonna fly over the top, taking out Punk. Rhea, meanwhile, is gonna whip AJ off the ropes. Drop down. How about the drop kick? Punk, meanwhile, recovered quickly on the outside. They're fighting over by the commentary table. Rhea has AJ right where she wants her, and Rhea is going to just deliver some strikes. Punk trying to go and put Buddy through that table, and I think he's going to do just that potentially, but I think Buddy was able to at least free himself a little bit. The table gets knocked over. AJ, meanwhile, arm drag in the middle of the ring, and AJ going to the second rope and wanting Rhea to get up. This is a little dangerous because Rhea is gonna catch her. I knew it. The ladder, put her to the ring, and a power bomb onto the ladder. Punk inadvertently. I might have just taken AJ out of commission entirely. I was about to say it's dangerous for some of these smaller girls to go and leap off the top rope, off the second rope, on to Rhea, who's going to probably catch them. Meanwhile, Punk has Rhea go to sleep, trying to make up for his mistake. He's going to get the pin broken up, Rhea down. Buddy, meanwhile, is going to have Punk hooked, and this is a dangerous spot. Murphy's Law onto the ladder, and now Punk feels it into the cover, and Punk is going to have it broken up. AJ saves it just in time, and now both AJ and Punk, oh my goodness, how confident are we that Punk and AJ haven't broken any ribs right now as the ladder is exiting the ring. So is Rhea over the top rope, taking out AJ. Buddy outside the ring onto Punk, and it really feels like Buddy and Rhea are just moments away from putting this match away. Buddy dropping Punk on the apron face first, as it's just been all Buddy and all Rhea ever since that ladder got introduced, and Punk kind of inadvertently let AJ take a powerbomb onto a ladder as into the ring. Buddy and Rhea are. Buddy tries to fly over AJ, dodges. Meanwhile, AJ goes into the ring, meets Rhea, dodges, goes with a standing Shiranu over the top, and Rhea goes down. Buddy takes a knee to the face of Punk, so Punk goes down as it's back to a 2-on-1, boot to the face, and Rhea measuring AJ. Could it be time? No, not Riptide, not yet. Punk back into the ring. Buddy, meanwhile, trying to stop this little rally as a pedigree's gonna be countered. AJ counters it, and now Punk go to sleep. Drop in there onto the knee, and into the top rope, but into the cover, and Rhea kicks out at 2. AJ now is gonna do a little bit more, taking out Buddy, and Punk into the ring. How about one more? Rhea up under the shoulders, go to sleep again, into the cover, and Rhea Not this time, as it's gonna be Punk and AJ going to the finals. And despite the punishment Punk and AJ took and the struggles that ensued in that match, to go to sleep, Rhea goes to sleep, and these two are going to the finals, but to take on who? In a match I'm excited for, looking forward to, Johnny and Candice, Becky and Seth going at it for a trip to the finals against Punk and AJ on the line. In this match, already starting off hot with these two teams going right at it, and Seth lifting Johnny up, and Johnny Gargano immediately poison Rana, and Becky gets dropped with the Samoan drop, a moonsault miss, a lot of action early on, and you see, to no surprise, how about some tables getting involved, because of course, why not? Both Becky and Candice had a table, and I guess they met, and Becky came out on top of that one, and Becky to the top rope, Johnny putting in a submission potentially, Becky, missile drop kick, Seth rolling out and getting free of Johnny, who ducks out of a strike, delivers one of his own, but a kick to the knee, and then a kick to the face where he goes into the cover on Seth. Becky in there, but it's probably not going to be enough as Seth kicks out at one. We still got a lot before either one of these teams are going to go down. These two have been really hard to beat. Candice has been, like I said, like the MVP of this tournament, it feels like. And Seth and Becky, obviously, it takes a lot to beat them. And we know Johnny Gargano's history, as he just loves going crazy in big-time matches, kicking out of everything. He's got the Gargano escape in. Becky off the ropes, can't break it up. Candice is going to catch Becky, trap her, spin her around, and how about a little wicked step sister as Seth is down into the cover. Becky is down. Seth is going to be kicking out at two. Becky not going to get pinned by Candice. Candice just let Johnny do his thing as Becky's going to have her hooked up. Manhandle slam, but that's right in front of Johnny, so that's not going to really result in much. But we've seen in a match earlier in this tournament, as that's going to be a tornado DDT off the springboard. We've seen a match earlier in this tournament where both Miz and Maryse had a situation like that. They both went for the pin. It was a miscommunication there. Johnny and Candice a lot more in sync as Becky in the Gargano escape is going to escape from it. And Seth on the outside, pedigree to Candice on the floor. Becky dealing with Johnny in the ring. Seth getting a weapon under the ring as Johnny with another DDT. And Seth throwing a chair at Candice, picking up a table. Becky clothesline. And Johnny is down to the second rope. Becky goes and trying to get him back up to his feet as Becky's gonna go with the missile drop kick. Meanwhile, Seth and Candice were fighting near the announce table. Seth gets thrown back into the ring. Becky back up to the second rope, maybe looking for something similar, but no, she gets down, realizes she couldn't make the jump from that distance, and has a disarmer in, but Candice breaks it up. So a lot of these big moves being hit, but you know, they've been in position to break things up before anything gets too far, too much damage happens. Becky with a little scoop slam and to the second rope. Once again, Becky to the second rope. This time a leg drop, but she misses, and Johnny, that might have been one too many moves off the second rope. Okay, Johnny, I don't think that's a good idea. That's maybe would be more effective on Seth, but still effective nonetheless. Becky kicks out. That's a curious move there, as Johnny, I guess Becky wasn't expecting it, so how about it? As Candice is going to miss there, Becky's going to catch her, stomp out the leg, and these two teams, I mean, my goodness, a lot's going to be going on here as Becky is going to drop him with that drop kick and maybe trying to get a little revenge on Johnny for that little stunt he pulled as a little leg drop there as Candice now going after Becky, driving her into the corner and stomping her out. Seth back into the ring as he's dealing with Johnny. Couple of strikes. Johnny nowhere to go as he's just delivering kicks right to the head. And Candice now making a decision here to deal with Johnny, but no, it seems like Johnny's all right, so she's going to go deal with Candice, and Seth, meanwhile, gets out of the ring and catches Johnny, but Johnny fighting back. Becky, meanwhile, inverted DDT on the outside over there. Seth catching the strikes of Johnny. Becky going to the apron. How about to the top rope for Becky, as she's going to fly, elbow drop, and she delivers it. Candice not able to roll away in time. Johnny gets thrown back into the ring. Seth goes back in with him. Becky under the ring, a ladder, and Seth, meanwhile, how about a curb stomp? And Candice still down. Becky has got to do something to make sure Candice can't break this up, and well, that's maybe not the best idea You could have done a little bit more, Becky, but Candice now. Oh, this could be bad. Candice rolling Becky over. She's right on the ladder, and that's going to be a wicked stepsister into the ladder. Oh, my goodness. And Johnny with the crucifix is going to have the pin. He breaks up the pin so Candice can do it as 1, 2, and Becky kicks out. Becky kicked out of a wicked stepsister on the ladder as Seth. Candice is angrily going to pin her again. Seth's going to break it up this time around. We've already seen these two teams empty out their bag or deep move sets. As how about another one here? Candice up on the shoulders and a buckle bomb. And Candice driven down. Johnny with the table, delivers it to Becky. Into the ring he goes, breaking up the pin. Ref also takes a little bit of damage there as he's down. Seth, meanwhile, gets his stomp caught. It looked like maybe he was going to set up for the curb stomp, but Johnny delivers a power bomb instead. Becky back into the ring. Seth is down, and Candice is delivering some strikes to Becky, and a quick snap suplex. Meanwhile, Johnny has got the Gargano escape, but the ref is down. Becky rolls out, but the ref is down. Ref is down. Seth still not going to tap out regardless. Candice, meanwhile, measuring Becky, and a suicide dive. Becky rolls out of the way. Need a Gargano in the ring from Seth as he comes off the ropes, and a knee drop to the face. Becky, meanwhile, outside the ring. Disarm her. Tap outs aren't going to count outside the ring regardless. Seth, meanwhile, Phoenix Splash. He actually hit it. He never hits that move. And Becky and Seth take control, but later on, it's Johnny and Candice quickly pulling themselves back into it. It's been so evenly matched between these two teams. We find ourselves with a table in the ring, a chair in the ring. Candice is going to help Johnny out, at least try to, but Johnny gets thrown through a table! And Candice LeRae is now going to take care of Becky, but Seth is back up, ready for Candice, and Seth delivering some chops, but Candice, I guess, just didn't want to sell that one. But how about that, a backbreaker? And Seth Rollins is alone with Candice in the ring. Becky down. Johnny just back up to his feet. Candice going for a springboard, and that's a poison rana. And Johnny, meanwhile, to the outside, just stomped Becky. And Seth kicks out. Johnny just stomped Becky's spine. It might have just cracked it in half. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, Seth catches Johnny with a kick. Candice over there going to try to capitalize on the damage done to Becky, but in the ring, how about a pedigree? And into the cover, pedigree onto Johnny. 1, 2, Johnny kicks out. And Becky, somehow, some way, back up on her feet and still going back up to the top rope. Johnny hadn't delivered a low blow, and Becky's going to break that up, but she's not able to. Seth kicks out at 2. I'm having a hard time catching my breath in this match as Becky with the pump handle suplex, and Johnny, splash. Well, he just missed, and I guess he's going to set himself up in a bad spot. How about a manhandle slam? Driving Johnny to the ground, into the cover. Ref is going to get stopped for a second, but Johnny is going to kick out. I think Candice might have got there in time, but it doesn't matter as Johnny's down. Candice is going to have the stomp broken up. Johnny rolled into Seth inadvertently, but it helped his team out a lot. And Becky into the outside. Johnny getting a forearm delivered to the back of his head. And Seth lining Johnny up, but he misses. Johnny out of the way. Candice and Johnny in the ring. Becky on the outside. Now Candice goes to the outside, and she's going to try to chase down Becky, but she gets into the ring. Seth rolls out of the ring, so some evasion here, but a manhandle slam, another one on Johnny. And Becky into the cover, but Candice is there to break things up. And Candice now throwing Becky over the top rope, delivering a strike, trying to get Becky out the ring, and she does. So now Seth and Becky both outside the ring. Seth eventually finds himself back inside and measuring Johnny, going for a stomp here, and Johnny driven to the mat with a curb stomp. And Seth into the cover, but Candice is right there, breaking it up. These two teams are right on the spot every single time. And now Becky, disarm her. And another submission for Becky is going to have Candice in trouble. Johnny needs to do something, but Candice is going to break free. Johnny with the cutter. Johnny and Candice now on top. Johnny and Candice combine with a little move there. I don't know, it was a inadvertent little combo as now Candice's turn. Gargano escape. Seth is down. Becky is going to almost be be in position to maybe tap out there. Seth keeps getting stopped. Johnny did just enough, but Becky gets free. Seth, meanwhile, is going to get caught in a small package, and Candice has Johnny in position, but Seth kicks out, but now Becky is going to have herself getting stomped in a wicked stepsister, and Becky is down into the cover. Becky might be done for, but Seth into the ring, and he breaks up the pin, and Candice not able to put him away, but Candice is going crazy right now. Becky's down. Gargano escape again, and Becky now has to get up, and Becky saves Seth from Candice this time. As Candice, how about a roll-up? And now she's got Becky down, and a 1, a 2, and Becky kicks out. Candice is just a one-man or one-woman army, I guess, as Johnny back into the ring to help out. Seth, though, kicking him in the face. Becky has Candice down for the pin, and Candice the right kicking out. And Candice is just doing everything that she can. Seth, meanwhile, looked like he had Johnny in position for a stomp, but Becky broke it up. And now instead, how about going to Candice LeRae with the stomp? Becky delivers a kendo stick right to Johnny, who rolls out the ring. This match is not over yet. Candice, and she kick out of the curb stomp. Becky now trying to take Johnny out, and she does. How did Candice just kick out of the curb stomp? Everything was lined up perfectly. Seth over the top rope. And Becky has got the disarmer locked in on Johnny. Meanwhile, Seth pedigree on the outside. And you can't win it on the outside, but I guess they're just going to keep on delivering damage. How about another curb stomp? Candice driven face first on the outside. Becky was maybe measuring, but I think now maybe they're going to try to target Johnny and get him in the ring to pin him, because right now, Candice is looking very Johnny-like, but NXT Black and Gold Johnny. I don't know what she's on right now, but I guess it just runs in the family between these two. Becky, how about a manhandle slam into the cover? It's going to finally be over. 2, and Candice kicks out again. What in the world? How is she kicking out? Johnny, this is all too familiar for Johnny, but usually it's him doing stuff like this as he's going to drop Becky down with the elbow drop. This is unbelievable. 2 curb stomps, a manhandle slam, disarmer. Candice is still surviving. How? I don't even understand it. Is Becky and Seth, I mean, they're going to just not be denied right now. As Candice, how is she back up? And now another one. Wicked step sister, and Seth is down, Becky is down, and Candice LeRae, she's not going for the pin. She's gonna lock Seth in. The Gargano escape and a wicked stepsister combined with the Gargano escape, but Seth is gonna get out now. And now what does it take for Seth to stay down? As Candice LeRae and Seth Rollins going at it, and Candice with the Hurricanrana. Somebody's gotta stay down. Somebody's gotta tap out. It's gotta be somebody. As Becky delivering kick after kick after kick, and she's gonna roll through. And how about a disarmer? And Johnny's in trouble. Candice is gonna break it up. And Candice, I can't even just speak to how good she has been this entire tournament. Johnny rolling out the ring, and Becky, meanwhile, is going to just try to deliver one final blow to Candice. How about onto the table? Becky has her and going for a suplex through the table, but Candice reversed it, so not done yet. Candice is gonna get turned around, and how about manhandle slam through the table into the cover, and Becky has her down, and Candice kicked out again. I don't think anyone can believe it. Seth and Johnny are down on the outside after a pedigree, and Becky, she's just got to do something, just more, just do more. Candice won't stay down. How about one more for good measure? Manhandle slam again, stomp on the outside, and Becky has got Candice down, and she finally doesn't kick out. It's Johnny and Candice put on one heck of an effort, but it's gonna be Becky and Seth moving on to the finals. And I cannot say enough about how incredible Candice LeRae was in this tournament, but it's not going to be enough to go to the finals, and we have ourselves one heck of a finals here, as if it was almost meant to be. Seth Rollins, CM Punk. That's already enough, but how about you add into a Becky and AJ? How about you add into just a blood feud with both their spouses, both two of the, if not the two top couples in all of wrestling, two of the absolute favorites, making it all the way to the end here, and one match to decide things once and for all. A dream mixed tag match like no other. Seth, Becky, Punk, AJ, blood feuds, and absolute stars going at it, as this is for it all. And Becky's immediately gonna take one of her own moves. How about an exploder suplex from AJ, as now Punk Pepsi Twist is already going to be out with the big hits in this one. And I think after last match Becky and Seth went through, I think Punk and AJ realized it's going to take a lot to take them down. And I think for Becky and Seth, after what they went through with Johnny and Candice, realized that Punk and AJ might even be a harder opponent than the team that they just faced. So it's going to be a lot of hits coming out early, as Seth with the Revolution knee, and it's already one big move after another as the exploder suplex from Becky got broken up. Punk outside the ring, and now Seth is going to turn his attention to AJ. Becky going after Punk, those two going after one another, but meanwhile, we got Punk and Becky going at it outside, and Seth on the inside of the ring, diving through the ropes, and he misses! And AJ gets out of the way! That was a hot opening sequence, but now jumping ahead a little bit further on, as Seth is going to at least stop Punk momentarily from jumping off the top rope, but now turn his attention to AJ, who's going to reverse the pedigree, and get Seth down. Meanwhile, Becky, Punk, in the ring going at it, thrown into the ref, but it's going to be Punk and AJ double teaming, and Becky goes down. Seth back to his feet. Becky, meanwhile, takes a Shining Wizard, and Punk takes a stomp, and instead of getting the cover, he's going to have to break up the pin on Becky, and now he's going to go for the cover on Punk, but AJ's going to be right there, and she breaks things up, so we're back at a stalemate and going ahead in this match. We got tables, we got ladders, we got prime bottles in the ring. Why not? As Becky with the pump handle, overhead suplex, and every weapon at their disposal is Becky measuring AJ, getting her up to her feet, trying to hook her for the manhandle slam, planting her, and into the cover. Punk is going to get thrown into the steps. She can't do anything to stop it, as that's going to be a kick out by AJ, and that is going to lead to this match continuing. With the escalation of some of these matches in the tournament, it really just, I don't even know what it's going to take out one of these two teams, what it's going to take, especially with the disliking that Seth and Punk have for one another, as Punk with the anaconda vice on the outside of the ring. I mean, he can't win it out there, but he's just going to wear Seth down as much as he can. AJ, meanwhile, in the ring. How about a standing Shira into again? And Becky gets driven down. And AJ with the bottle in her hand, I think, going to use that as a weapon, and she does. As AJ is going to contemplate her next move, but she went for the Shining Wizard. Becky moved out the way, but then she gets it the second time around as AJ into the cover. I don't think Seth's going to get there in time as the cover, and Becky kicks out, so each of them kicking out of the big move as they're still going at it in the ring. Meanwhile, outside the ring, Punk gets caught pedigree. And those two are just going to war. So they don't even care about winning the match. Punk and Seth have literally just been tearing the hell out of one another outside the ring, finally getting back into the ring as AJ is going to be there to meet Seth in the ring, and Seth with the forearm to the back of the head. Becky, meanwhile, is outside, needing to come back in pretty soon, but she is going to go for another weapon. Punk with the roll-up. Punk is going to have him down for just a 1 count, and everyone in the ring now as Becky going to roll through. How about this? Curb stomp to Punk. Disarmer to AJ, but Punk is right back up to his feet. Are you kidding me? Punk just said he did not care, as that's going to be a curb stomp, just absolutely no so. But how about another one for Becky to go with the manhandle slam? And it's going to be into the cover, curb stomp, and a manhandle slam. Is not going to be able to do it. 2 finishers, 1 by each of them, and Punk kicking out still, as they got to do even more to get Punk down, as Punk with the kick to the head. Becky dodges there and gets some strikes in of her own. Into the corner goes Punk as Becky got the bottle in her hand, and she's going to just try to whack Punk with it, but it's going to miss, and Punk now getting some strikes in. Becky counters. AJ with the big crossbody on the outside. Becky with the clothesline on the inside. AJ having a tough time out there lifting Seth. She's not going to be able to do that. Seth, though, can lift AJ with ease as Punk drops Becky in the ring. And those two going at it, just trading strikes one after another. Look like Punk going for something big there as Becky going to counter. And Becky is going to get dropped. And now, Anaconda Vice. Anaconda Vice, Becky in the middle of the ring. Has nowhere to go. Is she going to tap out? But no, Becky with some knees to the back of Punk. And Becky escapes. So gonna survive a little bit longer as now we jump ahead. We got table set up in the ring. AJ on the outside, Seth and Punk on the inside as AJ with the kendo stick now. And she is going to run right into the ring when she gets caught by a manhandle slam and into the cover as Punk is gonna get dropped in a curb stomp, but Becky is not gonna get the match done there. Kick out, but now Punk's turn to get pinned. Seth after the curb stomp is not gonna get it done. AJ and Punk each kicking out. So the counter now, I mean, I think Punk has taken, 2 curb stomps and a manhandle slam, so because it's going to take a little bit more. Becky, meanwhile, taking care of AJ on the outside with the submission. Seth and Punk in the ring. Punk is going to have Seth measured up, going for another Anaconda Vice, and this time on Punk is got Seth down as Seth is going to get free pretty quickly, so the Vice has not been able to take either one of them out as Seth has Punk up now, and Seth Rollins, look at this, go to sleep, he dropped him with the go to sleep, Becky with the disarmer on the outside, and CM Punk kicks out of the go to sleep. He kicked out of his own move, and Becky had AJ worn down just enough, but what is it gonna take for Punk to just get pinned by Rollins as AJ and Becky going at it on the outside of the ring still, and Punk, I mean, another pin. AJ gonna slide back in, this time break it up, but my goodness, it's been so much that Punk, I don't think Punk is going to allow himself to lose to Seth Rollins of all people. I don't think he's gonna allow himself to get pinned, but AJ now, Black Widow in the middle of the ring, as Seth needs to get in there quickly. Seth does, breaks it up, and now gets AJ down, but we are left to Punk and Seth in the ring. Roll up, and Punk gets out of it pretty quickly. Not even a 1 count, rolling out the ring as Seth now goes out the ring. Punk goes back in. Seth wants a weapon, going for AJ, and AJ is going to be able to meet Punk there quickly. Punk and Becky now in the ring fighting it out, and Becky takes the Pepsi twist and the clothesline, dropping Becky down into the cover. AJ's got Seth distracted. Becky is gonna kick out at 2. AJ tried to make a dive to save things and she missed, but she didn't need to do that. And a big moment there from Becky to save Seth from potentially taking a go to sleep, and now she's going to handle Punk in the ring again, working on the arms a little bit more, trying to wear them down for the disarmer. AJ back in, Seth in the ring, everybody in the ring. Now Punk gonna quickly roll right back out as Punk is going to be on his feet, but for the time being, AJ is in trouble. To the top rope AJ goes, and Seth's meeting her there. Punk is dealing with Becky on the outside, but Seth to the top rope is going to have a suplex, rolling back up to his feet, and the Falcon Arrow, and into the center of the ring, pin on AJ, and Punk is not going to be able to stop him, but AJ still kicking out. And this match is going to continue a little bit longer as AJ off the ropes goes Seth and into the arm drag. Becky with the crucifix on the outside, as this has just been absolutely brutal. No one able to just stay down at all. No one tapping out. I don't feel like either of these two teams are tapping out here as AJ drops Becky. How about some steel steps into the ring? Punk just introducing more weapons as Seth was maybe looking for a stomp, but instead he gets caught into the Black Widow, and Punk meanwhile, he's gonna have her up, go to sleep to Becky, but Punk is gonna have to realize that Seth got out of the Black Widow, and I think he does, so he's not going for the pin there. Revolution knee, but now into the pin, it might be too late. Seth breaks things up as Becky was maybe down for the count there, but Becky now in between these two. How about another big time curb stomp to Punk? Cover, that's number 3, and down for the cow. Punk kicking out again. 3 curb stomps What in the black and gold am I watching right now? This is ridiculous. As AJ got the table in her hands, and now Seth, how about a pedigree onto AJ and dropping her into the cover. Pedigree and AJ down, no one to save her, and a kick out. Becky dropping Punk with the suicide dive, but we are still continuing here as Seth is going to look for a curb stomp. AJ down after the curb stomp. Now it's her turn. Down for the pin. Cover. And AJ kicking out of the stomp too. What is going on? These people are kicking out of everything. None of these four people can have really much left as Punk now getting lifted up. Becky has him set up. What is she going for here? Oh my goodness, she just dropped him on that bottle. That is not. Oh my goodness, now she just threw a chair at AJ's face. And Becky, I think she's had enough. Chair to the face, but Punk able to escape. I think Becky was just tired of this. But now Punk up on the shoulders of Seth getting dropped. But my goodness, Becky just obliterated Punk and AJ all in the span of about 5 seconds. Cover, Punk kicking out at 2. I mean, if curb stomps aren't going to get the job done, I don't think an electric chair drop's going to really do much, as AJ just trying to take Punk down. As meanwhile, Punk, Becky up on the shoulders. Go to sleep. Becky, AJ done as a cover. And Becky kicking out of the go to sleep. Meanwhile, Black Widow onto Seth. And Becky too hurt to make anything happen. But Seth is going to escape out of it. And now it's Becky and Seth's turn to manage to get out of all of those big-time maneuvers. As Seth on the outside, now we jump ahead. Pedigree to the outside. Seth and Punk are exhausted. Becky and AJ can't have much left inside the ring, as Becky with the table setting things up. And I don't even know what it's going to take. I mean, maybe a manhandle slam through the table. Got to do something here. She's going to try to do something here. How about a German suplex through the table? Dropping AJ through the table into the cover up the German, but Punk is not going to be able to get there in time. AJ kicking out at 2. Punk gonna get back into the ring. I think the tank for all 4 of these stars is running on empty at this point. It's gotta be 1, 2 more big moments. Manhandle slam, but AJ right there to set Becky up, who's slowly getting to her feet. And how about Shining Wizard to the face of Becky, and Seth into the ring to break things up, and he will. I think at this point, whatever unbroken up pin is going to happen next after a big move is going to be it. Kick out at 2 on the roll-up. AJ countering with one of her own, and AJ is going to get a 1 count. Punk spinning neck breaker to the outside. AJ to the top rope, with Punk getting a cover on Becky, but breaking up by Seth, as AJ the top rope takes out Seth from behind. I guess Seth forgot about her on the top rope. Meanwhile, Punk with some strikes. Becky catches him and delivers a shot to the knee, and rolling now through, and Becky has got Punk trapped, and Becky disarm her. Punk in the middle of the ring is going to get away, and AJ is dealing with Seth on the outside, but Punk, how about a go to sleep, and CM Punk dropping the knee on Becky. It might finally be it, but Seth back into the ring, and Seth's got to break it up. He does, and this one's not over yet. Who's going to be at the right place at the right time? Who's going to be the one to put this thing away? Seth with the springboard. Punk rolls out of the way, taking out Becky. Everyone in the ring, and it's going to be AJ with the roll-up. Roll-up on Seth. Becky is down. Seth kicks out, as now Becky rolling back up to her feet, and that's gonna be Seth. He's gonna get countered. Becky fights free, and Becky with the strike to the face, and Becky going to get him with the fisherman suplex. Punk got him down, and the cover onto AJ is gonna be a kick out at 2, as now Punk is out, and Becky's got a kendo stick. Seth, meanwhile, alone with AJ. Seth's got AJ set up. Kick to the gut. Meanwhile, Punk on the shoulders. Becky up on his shoulders. Counters. Seth with the curb stomp. Becky escapes the go to sleep into the cover. And Seth Rollins has got the victory. Becky Becky was able to counter the go to sleep and was able to do just enough to hold Punk away, allow Seth to get the cover. And what a tournament here as the finals end with Becky and Seth on top and Punk and AJ in the runner-up position. Let me know what you guys all thought of this tournament, as your winners are Becky and Seth. Let me know if you want to see something like this again. If you guys enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe, as all that stuff is very much appreciated, and what you want to see next potentially in this game, as you want to see more tournaments like this, more videos like this, more videos like the one that I put out previously, like following the Intercontinental title and all that other stuff. But this was a fun one. Johnny and Candice were awesome. The Johnny and Candice Becky Seth match was awesome. The finals was awesome. Some moments of this match were great, and moments in the tournament were great. So let me know what you all think. Like I said, any support is much appreciated, and I will see you guys all in the next one.